Hello YouTube, here I am in front of Ann's Mercedes GLA 250. This is the first issue we've had with this car. This is a 2019 Mercedes GLA 250 4MATIC. It's been a pretty good car so far. We've had it since 2021 I believe. She got 60,000 miles on it. And the issue right now is the steering wheel buttons don't work. So I'm just going to tear into it and see what we got. So first thing you got to do is disconnect the battery. Let's do that. Disconnect the battery, negative terminal of the battery. Just cover right here. Pull the cover off here. Disconnect the negative terminal of the battery, especially because we're messing with that airbag. You don't want that thing blowing up in your face. So pull the battery off. To get the airbag out, so here's the airbag. There's just one connector there. The airbag, let me just sit this on here. So the airbag, you know, plugs onto here. And to get it off, there's these two clips right here. There's one here and one here. And there's a hole in each side. If you look at the steering wheel, there's a little hole right here. If it's never been off, there'll just be a dimple there. So you just got to poke your screwdriver through that dimple and push this pin in, and it'll come up, and then do the same thing on the other side. It'll pop out, and you just disconnect the one cable. Will be here. And then to pull the steering wheel off, that was big old Allen key bolt. Just use a 10mm like this. Pull that out, and then the steering wheel, and then this connector here too. These connectors, you just I don't know if you can see or not. No, you can't see. There's just two little tabs on either side. You squeeze them and pull it off. And then the steering wheel comes right off. Okay, so that's, and then once you get the steering wheel off, you have this little cover here, and you just pry it off with your fingers. There's a little tab. See that little tab right there? Can you see it? Just a little tab there, a little clip that clips it on. There's three of them. So you just pop this off. Once you get that off, there's another piece in here that is the wire that connects these three terminals here, and there's four others down in there. It connects those to the two connectors. I have it upstairs, I'll show you. And that's what allows you to turn your steering wheel and still be connected for all these buttons and the airbag and everything. And the thing that got me to look into this is because all of her buttons quit working, and their airbag light came on. So once I tore that all apart, I took four little teeny screws out. There were screws just like that one there, if you can see it. Little Torx screws. There were four right in the front, and I pulled this other piece off. So let me go. I took it upstairs so we can check it out. So stay tuned. Okay. So I wish I would have videoed this from the beginning, but this is the part. See, there's where those four pins go down and connect, and then there's a 3 pins right there when you plug this on, right? And somehow those cables, see this right here, all of these ribbon cables were wound around this with these little rubber bands kind of holding them. And this was in here, just like that. Just like that is in there. And that's where the two connectors go, you know, when you put the steering wheel on. That's where the two connectors go. So I pulled it apart with this, it just had this ring on the back. Hang on, let me get the tripod. Okay, so this ring here was in the back like this, and these are four little clips that this clipped onto. That's how this was together, and these were all just wrapped around. So I pried on these 4 little clips and popped this bottom off, and then the top came off, and all these were wound up in there. But as I took it out, these ribbon cables, they're all broken off. There's a 3-pin, and here's a 4-pin broken off. So I don't know why they're broken off. You know, they just fell out. It's not like I ripped them out. You know, as soon as I took that off, I very carefully lifted it, and they slid right out. It looks like, yeah, right there you can kind of see it. It actually looks like they were soldered on there, but these look like they were crimped. These definitely don't look soldered. It looks like they were crimped on somehow. Somehow they were crimped onto there, and they're just broken off. So my next thing, so that's a 4-pin one in here. Where's the 3-pin? I don't see any other ones. The next thing I think I'm going to try to do is take this farther apart. I'm going to try to get it, you can see there's separate plastic pieces here. So let me see if I can get this apart. I would have just bought one of these, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I was looking forever for a 2019 GLA 250. They call this a, I forget what they call it. I'll look it up and I'll put it in there, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm going to try to fix it. Hopefully I can fix it. So let me see if I can get this apart and I'll check back. Okay, so I was able to get it apart. So this was on like that. There were these little holes right here. I just pressed a small screwdriver. Actually, no, I think I went this way. Yeah, through these little holes here. And I just pried this plastic. I just pried this plastic away from that little pin. I don't know if you can see that little pin sticking up there. I just put this through here and pried it up and pulled it apart. And I did that for all of them, and I got it apart. Got this apart. And what I see is this. Check it out. So yeah, that ribbon cable just tore. So here's the 4. It just like tore. It was like this. It looks like it just ripped right off. One thing I did notice that was a little strange, but maybe is nothing. There was a hair, a really long hair, like bundled up in there, so much so that I had a hard time pulling it out. Like it was wrapped all around these things. These are just little rubber bands that go on here so that whenever you rotate it, it just kind of rolls. It helps the ribbon just roll around it, you know. But like that hair was wrapped around one of these and all around in here, like it was hard for this to move. So I'm just wondering if somehow that got all jammed and turning the steering wheel just ripped those off. I'm not sure, that's just a guess, but that's the only thing I could explain, because unless they just didn't have it wrapped properly how it normally is supposed to be, and it just got tight and ripped off. It clearly just got ripped off of there. You know, and the steering, this car's never been taken apart in any way before, so I don't know. But let me see if I can think of a fix for this, and I'll check back. Okay, so here's what I got. I just soldered it on there. It's a little ugly. What I did was I scraped the copper clean on this side and I tinned it, put some solder on it, and then I also tinned these right here, and then I laid it on there and just heated it up and melted them together. It got a little ugly there, the plastic's melting a little bit, but I ohmed it out. You know, it's, you know, less than 0.1 ohm across all 4 of them. So it's just soldered, but I mean, I feel like there should never really be any pressure on that. I mean, this plenty enough ribbon cable to wrap around here like 3 times. I think it's like 2.5 rotations in each direction or whatever. So, you know, the hard part now is going to be getting the thing back together because I don't know exactly how these were wrapped. So I have to try and figure out how to get it wrapped where I can rotate it at least 3 times in each direction. But also I got to do the ribbon cable for the 3 here. This looks like this. Oh yeah, it just slides right up out. So same thing here. I'll just clean all this off. You know, this is what I did. I peeled this off. Clean all this off, and peel that all off like that. I'll tin these 3, and then the same thing here. I'll scrape this off and tin these 3 and solder them on here. The only thing that's going to be a problem with this one is that one I had it tore off like in a pattern so I could tell which way it went. But I'm going to have to assume because it's wrapped like that it went this way. Which would make sense because the barcode's up, you know. So that's the way I'm going to put it. Hopefully I'm not putting it the wrong way. Otherwise I'll have 2 wires off, you know. But I feel pretty good about, you know, soldering it that way. I'm pretty sure that's, you know, it's bent like that. So let me do that. I'll scrape this clean, tin these, and melt it on, and I'll check back. Okay, this is what I got so far. I put those back in place and I clip this cover back on, and I just wrap these around here. So that it is like this. Maybe it's only 2 rotations. I should go check my car and see how many times the steering wheel rotates from one side to the other. Okay, my steering wheel in my car only rotates 1.5 times each way. I wrap the ribbon cable around the center part, and then after it's around the center part, then it came around one of these rubber band things and went to the connector. And one of the cables was longer than the other, so it came and went around this one into the connector. And this one's just holding them all in tight. So that way, as you turn it, this one's rolling this in tight against the outside, this one's rolling this one in tight against the outside. This one's just keeping any that are on the outside, and keeping the ones that are on the inside nice and neat, see? And it seems to work perfectly. Back to the middle, 1, 2. It seems like it's staying pretty organized in there. Seems like it's turning pretty good. So anyhow, I think I'm gonna call it a fix. I ohmed these out again to make sure they're still good. Now I'm going to put it in the car, so let's check it out. Okay, so I'm just going to go in the reverse order and put this back together. We got this. It goes on here, and there's 4 screws, but this goes, you know, in this slot here, and these are the 3 that these pins go in. So I'm going to be very careful with it and do it with 2 hands. I'm going to put that in there, and then I'll check back. Alright, got that on. I put these 4 screws in. I just had to kind of get everything lined up just right. And the next thing is this little trim piece. Just goes on like that. Clips on. And then next is the steering wheel. Just kind of slides in, and you have to remember where things are. I don't know if you can see in there, but there's a line in that shaft, and there's little arrows on here. Those are lined up perfectly. So then I do that, and I put a little bit of blue Loctite on here and bolt that in, and then I'll check back. Okay, got the steering wheel in. The last thing is, well, there's a connector right here. So you can see there's a connector there. I'll plug that connector in. And then the airbag has that yellow connector there. I'll plug it into the right side there. And it just clips in. So let me see, plug this in. This little purple connector. Plugged in. Airbag. Might have to use two hands with this, but you can see what's going to happen here, right? That gets plugged in and the airbag just pops on. So let me do that and I'll check back. And there you have it. Steering wheel's all put back together, replaced. Airbags on. Last thing is to just hook the battery back up. And then we try it out and see if it worked. So let me get that hooked up and then I'll be right back. Alright, I turned the camera on before I do anything because I don't know what's going to happen. Well, do the buttons do anything? Well, maybe they don't do nothing yet. Let's start the car and see what happens. Pretty sure the oh, wait. There's an airbag. You can see, well, I just turned it off, so it says don't forget your key, but you can restart it. And okay, we got the TPMS sensor still because I don't know, one of them must have went bad in one of her wheels, but I'm putting new tires in this car in 2 months, so I'm just gonna, that's fine. She can ride it without knowing the air pressure in one tire for 2 months, and then I'll buy one and have it put in when I get tires on it. Anyhow, yeah, everything worked. See, all the buttons work. Horn works. So everything works again, so that's great. So that's a pretty easy fix. So hopefully, hopefully someone else can do that. But, I fixed that absolutely for free. Completely did not cost me 1 penny. And really, it took about 10 minutes to remove the airbag, steering wheel, and the clock spring. And then I spent maybe 15 minutes upstairs and another 10 minutes putting it back to, so I probably spent an hour. In an hour, I repaired and reinstalled a part completely for free that probably would have cost over $1,000 from the dealer. So, hopefully somebody that, has a little bit of tools and some mechanical ability can, save a ton of money by doing this job himself. So anyhow, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you guys want to see anything in particular, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.